Clark.
Thank you, Jeff. This is a provocative question. Who is really in control of your mind? Let me have you consider this. Of the things you think, say, or do automatically, thousands of them every day, half of that programming was established by age 4, 75% by age 7, and 95% by age 18. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and anybody who wants to take back control of your mind, I have 2 items of good news for you. One is, some of those programs can make you great. The other is, there are a lot of people who can tell you how to do this. So the title of my talk tonight, Harnessing the Power of Intention, is based on what I think is a key for accomplishing taking back control and emphasizing the programs or the behaviors that you want for being successful. I'm going to say this, not a secret. The key to creating a reality is one thing that I'm going to discuss in a couple of ways tonight, and that's simply meditation. So when we get to the end, it's not going to be a surprise. That's what I'm talking about tonight. And then I'll also give you maybe not a surprise about once you get control and figure out how to do that and empower your intention, what are the possibilities? Really, that's not a secret either. I'm just going to say they're unlimited. Okay, now you have the answer to my speech, and I've got 6 more minutes to talk. What about all those people who surround you with advice on how to do what I'm suggesting you do? Some of them hit around the idea of meditation, some skip it completely, some are way off base. Some of the better ones include the movie The Secret, which has been around so long that I don't know why they still call it Secret. The Secret, the law of attraction. And it requires some intention, some power, some meditative juice in your intention. I don't know if you saw these 2 movies, What the Bleep Do We Know, which basically said either not much or a lot, depending on the scientist you listen to. And it didn't answer everything because they had to have a secret. However, if you have paid attention, like a lot of you have, to the information that surrounds you on this topic, we have gurus that will help you harness the power within, awaken the giant, whatever the titles are. Tony Robbins is one of the more famous ones. You also know, do you know Wayne Dyer?
Yeah.
He's my favorite. Channel 8 has him on the membership drive, and they have a committee ahead of time saying, what can we do to get Dennis Clark to buy all his stuff? Buy all his stuff. Honestly. A lot of these people have a pretty good message, and they hit around that notion of you have to get centered somehow and get meditative. I would say the least useful is this one here, and I put a hot air balloon next to his name for a good reason. He has caught on. However, for the most part, and I've met him in person, I know the guy, he's full of it. Hot air. Let's talk about meditation. I'm going to give you a couple of perspectives on meditation. One is, when did our culture become aware of this? I realized it when the Beatles went to India and they came back with the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Say that 3 times fast. That's that cute little guy in the middle who has the cutest laugh. I just thought that their music had gone south, they went weird, and they didn't know what they were doing. I mean, look at them. They're not even like the Beatles who sang, I Want to Hold Your Hand. They're different. However, it turns out that at that time, some real research started appearing on meditation. And it turns out that that research continued for decades until we got to the point where, look at this, a cover and feature article in Time magazine in 2003 about the science of meditation. This isn't some new agey, frou-frou, feel-good, fuzzy-wuzzy thing anymore. There's hardcore science. So that, of course, appeals to me since I'm a scientist. When I started looking at the science back in graduate school, I actually took the course on transcendental meditation, which is one of the types. I won't talk about the different types. There are different ones. However, what's important to know about these is what they do to get you into a meditative state. Now we'll get sciencey. This is the fun part. You probably heard about brain waves. You have some real important biomagnetic fields and waves coming out of your body. The 2 most powerful centers are your brain and your heart. Your brain has different frequencies. What these letters mean here, hertz, is cycles per second. That's the speed of those waves. If you look at the descriptions over there, you can see that theta and alpha to a certain extent are where we are in a meditative state. You don't just command that. You have to practice that. In fact, you practice that in a variety of ways. And once you get there, you are receptive to suggestion and also receptive to empowering your intention based on that reception. There are so many ways to talk about how to meditate. All I'm going to say is that whatever you do, these are your goals, to get into those brainwave patterns. One of my friends, Bill Tiller, has demonstrated that what meditators can do with the power of intention. Oh, you know him? He did some experiments. I'm going to talk about just a couple. He said this was the important work of his life. So he retired early from Stanford University as a physicist, pretty solid stuff, and founded a lab in Payson, Arizona. He did a couple of experiments I want to describe just based on what he found out, the power of intention, when it's empowered by a meditative state. Took 4 meditators and had them focus on an electronic device that didn't do anything except vibrate. What they focused on, a couple of different things, was, for example, changing the acidity of water. They took the machine, after focusing on that, they took that machine and sent it off to the University of Minnesota. They wrapped it in aluminum foil to keep the power of intention in. They didn't really know what they were dealing with at that time. And it worked. They set the machine inside an enclosure, hooked it to a pH meter, and watched the pH become more acidic. They also did an experiment with living organisms. That's the graph of changing acidity. What they found out is they can induce a speedier development of fruit flies. I don't know why you'd want to do that, except that this is just a test organism. And when they got to the adult stage, they were healthier. The main point is that there are various ways that you can harness your power of intention. There are various things that you can do to it or with it in your life. There's solid science behind what you can do, even to just an electronic device. It can house the power of intention. You probably do it on a regular basis without knowing it. A church, if you think about it, is a place where people have intention. Yep. It is a holy space. Actually, Bill Tiller would say it's a U2 gauge space. It has intention in the building. It's phenomenal what you can do once you meditate. So the main thing is, if you're going to stop sleepwalking through your life, you want to accomplish something, you want to harness your power of intention, then you really got to get on a meditative track. Madam Postmaster.
Oh, yeah.